I really love when I see that light bulb moment of someone realizing, oh, I'm into that. Sometimes people get freaked out by it. And then you sort of see like the path of, is this weird? This is weird. No, it's not weird. I'm going to go home and try that.
I'm Amy.
I'm April.
Certified sex educators, sexperts of the year, and best-selling authors.
And we're on a mission to help you have more spicy, connected, and amazing shameless sex. Welcome to the Shameless Sex Revolution.
We're so close, it's like we have our own language. We're making sex and relationships shameless.
To learn more, go to shamelesssex.com.
And for 15% off some of our favorite sex toys, use code SHAMELESSSEX at purepleasureshop.com.
You are listening to a pleasure podcast. For more from our sex podcast collective, visit pleasurepodcasts.com.
Well, hello, everyone.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome back to the Shameless Sex Podcast. Chip, do you want to talk about sex toys, praise kinks, sex moments? We're like, oh, there it is.
It was the first time I learned about the term praise kinks on this episode. And of course, yes, to answer your question, I love talking about sex toys. This one even went deeper, though. We've never gone this deep into the topic of sex toys.
There was a pun there that you did not intend.
I didn't intend, and I was stoked on this because Lisa Finn is someone that I really respect and adore. Known her for quite a while, I think since her beginning when she was a baby bird.
We've identified as sex toy professionals, and I also learned so much from what she was sharing on this episode.
Because it goes deeper into some of because she has such a skill set and an expertise at the store level, working in New York, and with two of our favorite retailers. We love Babeland and Good Vibrations. Mm-hmm. And she's been, talking to people, seeing lots of different toys over the years.
Remember her story about the blowjob on the banana in this episode?
No, I'm just saying. Yes, I do. It was so good. I was dying, and I
still don't understand what happened.
I don't either. And y'all can make your own assumptions /
or just listen,
and not have any judgments about it because it's quite fascinating.
Yeah. The things that sex educators see.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. And then when this episode comes out, I think we are maybe 1 week away from being in Seattle. We're going to be in you.
I think less than, whatever it is, because we're Thursday, August 1st, Seattle.
Yep.
We're coming to you. Mm-hmm. We've got some folks that we know, some folks that we don't know going to the show. What we do know is that VIP tickets are sold out. However, there's still time for you. We take a lot of volunteers during every show.
And
you can still win sex toys.
Exactly. Like the best sex toys from Magic Wand, Sport Sheets, Aneros, Pure, Womanizer, Uber Lube, all of our favorite brands.
We'll have a merch table. You can buy some of our totes that are cute. Our book, which we will sign for you. And if you have a VIP ticket, awesome. We will see you there in the front row. And if you don't, that's okay because we do a lot of audience interaction.
Oh yeah.
We blew the place out in Chicago. We had so much fun. It was June 30th in Zanies, in Zanies, whatever. We were in Zanies.
We were in you, Zanies.
We were in you, Zanies.
We're going to be in you, Seattle at the Crocodile.
The Crocodile, which I love that so much. Reminds me of that Elton John song.
Sing it.
I remember when rock was young. I don't know.
I love when you sing.
It's the Crocodile Rock song, which I don't love that song. However, it just reminds me of that.
Oh my God. You're such a fucking rock star. I love when you sing on the podcast. No. So if you want to buy tickets and come to our show, go to shamelesssex.com, go to the events section and get your tickets and come hang out with us in person.
This is our last event right now. So there's not a lot of events listed. However, there will be more. So it's not hard to find that one event that's listed.
Yeah.
We're working on booking more shows. We're just getting our feet back on the ground.
Maybe taking a little summer vacation, not from the podcast. We'll be back every week because we never miss an episode, but
Right.
Are you ready for a sex question, Chip?
Yes, I'm going in without any knowledge.
Ooh, surprise. I'm a woman in a long-term relationship with a wonderful partner. I love everything about being with him and have no intention of leaving, but we also have some newfound differences in our sex lives. His was pretty strong. Oh, sex drives. Sorry, not lives. Sex drives. His was pretty strong for the first year and now has dwindled, while mine remains just as strong as it was when we first started dating. I want to find a way where we work together on this as opposed to apart. Any suggestions? Ooh, I feel like this is a really reaffirming or affirming whatever sex question, because a lot of people think of it as the reverse, where it's usually the woman, in heterosexual relationships, the woman, the pussy owner, is the one that loses their sex drive, and the man's like, oh, I still want to fuck so much. And this is like the reverse of it. I don't know if they have kids or like what all that stuff is. And it's not the first time I've heard of this. It's not like super rare or unusual.
Well, it's typical for a lot of, especially when there's straight couples, for it to be hot and heavy in that, what is it called?
The
that
lust phase. Yeah.
Yes. That honeymoon phase, as some people call it as well, where you're just hot and heavy. There's not a lot of, maybe they don't live together yet. Maybe they do, but like you're just horny for each other all the time.
New and like kind of scary.
Yeah. But then domestication, domesticity, whatever you want to say, what Esther Perel talks about in mating
habituation.
Yes.
You're getting used
mating
to
captivity. You're getting used to your partner. You're like, you're kind of fucking boring. You want to Netflix and chill? I don't want to say that, but that's happened, right? Or you just put on those flannels.
I mean, you and I have both been there for sure.
Of course.
Yeah.
No shame in that, because it can happen. It takes effort.
Yeah, it does. And so this person is wanting to work with their partner. And we don't always go to like non-monogamy is the answer. So we aren't even going to bring that up in this case, because they want to work together. Although you could work together in non-monogamy, but it sounds like they want to do just a collaborative thing in monogamy. At least that's what I'm reading. And so April, with what you said, right? Like newness, creativity, which Esther Perel talks about, are things that long-term relationships and just humans thrive off of. And while habituation is normal and feels good, it's all safe, it's calm, we watch Netflix, we wear flannels, it doesn't make me want to fuck. And so it sounds like she's wanting more of that. And so I'm curious for her is like, or for both of them, she's writing the question though, like what are you doing to create newness and spiciness in your life, even if it's not related to sex? Like it just feels like it's romance or a connection or love.
You know what just came to mind to me? Remember when I don't know if the episode's out yet. I hope so. Can't, because we record so many episodes and then we release them later. But Dolly Josette.
Oh yeah, that one's out.
And she has a
relationship reboot.
Yeah. So you can actually go to her spot, and she has a space that she's curated in Nashville, Tennessee, and she takes couples only, and they basically help recharge or reboot relationships that have there could be libido differences, there could be relational differences, there can be sex. Obviously, libido is typically geared towards your sex drive, and they can help rekindle that flame. That could be an option. I didn't think about that until I was dropping into this question while you were talking about what happens.
Yeah.
So I think that could be, but if you don't have the spaciousness, or you're too far away from there, or the capacity or money or time, so there are other options too.
Yeah, she has a lot of good tips in her episode. I think it came out in June, but I'm not remembering.
2024.
Yeah, 2024. And then, so I think the goal here isn't to make your partner have the same sex drive as you, or you to turn it down to meet your partner. It's like a meeting in the middle, right, of some sort. And maybe if you're like, I want to, a cock inside me 5 days a week, and your partner's like, I only want to put a cock inside of someone twice a week now. How do you meet in the middle? And then maybe some form of meeting in the middle isn't like, oh, it's now only 3 times a week. It's like we get this satisfaction from other variations of being sexual or loving or romantic. So I guess another question would be, what about your drives feel really different, and what are your main intentions for wanting to be sexual, right? Like, is it about orgasms? Is it about touch? Is it about connection? And some of those might give you options to fulfill that without it being sex.
And I love that. I would also add what's going on in his world, right? Because not only are there a lot of externalities involved in people's sex drives, a lot of times it could be totally unrelated to, sometimes it could be unrelated to even the physiology. It could be totally mental, because our brain is our largest sex organ. We talk a lot about this in our book. And if you don't have our book, go ahead and check that out, because there could be some insight, or have your partner gently maybe provide the book on the table at dinner and be like, hey, I read this book, I love it. Or just be like, yo, there's some good information, because sometimes there's other things that affect people's drive. And Amy's right. It could just be maybe the desire is there's a difference,
so many reasons.
A desire discrepancy, which Esther Perel has talked about. We talk about it as well in our book and on this show. So asking questions, or if he has a sincere desire to want to meet you somewhere in the middle, it would be a good thing to really each of you check in with yourselves. And hopefully, if he has that desire, he can figure out what's going on, or maybe you can have discussions or seek outside support to help figure out what's going on, because maybe there is something that you're unaware of or that he doesn't even understand yet that he can dive deep into, that's somewhere in his psyche, or maybe it's really present on the surface and he's just not willing to share at this point. There's so many different cases and people, and right now on planet Earth, it's kind of a fuck all of a time. It's like people are going through a lot of shit. The economy.
Does it make you want to bone down?
No. like stress.
You don't get turned on by stress and economy.
Some people can fuck out stress.
Yeah.
Like I like that. Or
it
grief.
doesn't work for me.
But other people can't. So if there's high levels of like cortisol that's spiking that are affecting.
It's not a sexy hormone.
No. It and fear and oh my God, what's the future look like? That can be really troublesome for your sex drive.
Totally.
I don't know. I just want to crawl into bed and watch Netflix by myself.
And another thing, and this will be my last Amy thing is, and I think April would agree, which this whole episode is actually kind of about, and I just realized that sex toys, right? Are a great way
ding,
to,
ding, 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 dong.
A great way. Because you can, so I could so say you're my partner, April, she loves when I do this example. So say you're not my business partner and you're not very turned on, but I want to feel your touch and have an orgasm. So I can use a vibrator on myself, on my body, and you can put your hands on my arms, you can kiss me, we can still be engaged while I'm still having this like orgasmic sexual experience. And so sex toys give you this, or you can also use fingers, but they're like the easy fast lane into pleasure town. And it's not just clit owners, right? Like cock owners can do the same thing. It doesn't mean that everyone has to be engaging in orgasms or penetrative sex. So this whole episode is actually about a bunch of sex toys, and you will hear about Lisa Finn in a second from April. And if you listen to our intro and outro, you have a special discount code to get some of our favorite sex toys at purepleasureshop.com. It's Shameless Sex, and you get 15% off. And if you are in the San Francisco area, the Massachusetts area, the New York area, go to Babeland, go to Good Vibes.
Seattle too.
Seattle too. And you can touch these things in person that she talks about.
These things. And I just want to say it's completely normal and it's completely acceptable when you're in long-term relationships to have different desires throughout the course of your relationship.
It's like abnormal to not do that.
Exactly. So it's more normal to have these discrepancies, and it does take work though. So we wish you all of the best and thank you for writing us and for sharing. And we hope that you are able to, keep us posted.
Keep us posted.
It takes time and practice. So let's talk about Lisa Finn. Okay. So Lisa Finn, aka Finn, is a Brooklyn-based sex educator and writer for Babeland and sibling company Good Vibrations, who has hosted countless interviews and workshops on a variety of topics for all levels of attendees and has been quoted in publications such as The New Yorker, Forbes, Cosmo, and more. To learn more, go to babeland.com.
All right, everyone, it is interview time, and we are here today with Finn, also known as Lisa Finn, who is an awesome human sex educator, writer, all the things. You already heard a little bit about Lisa, or Finn, we'll say Finn in the bio. And we'll start with our same prompt that we always do with all of our guests. But before we do that, reminder, if you're not watching us on YouTube, go check us out on YouTube and follow or subscribe. I guess subscribe is the right way to say that. I think subscribe. Yeah, go see, follow, all things. Anyways, Finn, welcome to Shameless Sex. And can you please tell us and our listeners a little more about how you got to where you are today in the field of sexuality?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm so stoked to be talking to y'all. So how I wound up doing this is a little bit weird. I needed two things, one of which was lube, the other was a job. And I walked into Babeland to get said lube and saw a no hiring sign. At the time I was working as an actor, I did have some experience in sex education. I used to be a peer youth sex educator for a queer youth crisis center because, with public schools, sex education, they don't really provide that to queer youth. They kind of just provide, here's everything you need to know about reproduction. So doing that for a little while. So I just expected it to be a side gig, nothing that I was going to really move forward with, just, retail, make my money so I can afford living in the city. And I fell in love with it. I thought that it was just going to be selling dildos, selling sex toys, and that was it. I did not realize the connection that I would be making with the other people that work there, with the customers that were coming in. I did not realize how important this work was on a level beyond just getting people pleasure tools. So I started teaching classes, I started writing blogs, and I started working with Dr. Carol Queen, who is
Amazing.
an absolute phenomenal human. So working under her and just learning more and more, and I fell in love with it. And 8 years later, here I am.
I met you, I think, nearly 8 years ago. I think you were fairly, kind of not new to the industry as a whole. And it was in the Babeland store in Brooklyn, I believe. Let me reminisce for a minute because that was a beautiful day. And it's been such a good journey for you. And I love what you do. I'm so happy to see you here on the show with us because I've always loved your vibe and what you put out there. So thank you, Finn. And because we've all been in the sex toy industry, now some people call it the sexual health and wellness. I think it's the sex toy industry, but we're in the field of sexuality, right? But all of us on some level being in the sex toy industry for 5 plus 10 plus whatever amount of years have this, or maybe many, what the fuck, that was so wild, shocking, weird stories about working in the sex toy industry. So what is yours, Finn?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So we used to have a private class that we did called Art of the Blowjob. It was after the shop had closed, we would actually turn the back of the store into like a little classroom. We'd set up chairs, and it was an interactive class in that everybody got a banana and a flavored condom, so that as our educators were showing you what you can do, you could actually do it along with us with your banana. There was a person sitting in the front row, and I still will never understand physically how this person managed to pull this off.
I'm so curious what it is. Okay.
We're teaching simple mouth techniques, and this person puts the entire banana. Mind you, also, I had to like go to the bodega before these classes and just be like, I'll take all the bananas you have. Don't ask any questions. Puts an entire banana in their mouth. And when they pulled it out, it was just completely eviscerated inside the condom. Like,
wait, what did it mean eviscerated?
Was it in the peel? Wait, was it in the peel?
It was in the peel and in a condom. And it looked like they had just been like chomping on it for an hour. But
it was like smashed. It was like smashed down and oh my God.
But was this through their
throat? It into their mouth. And then when they pulled it out, it was just destroyed. And we really want to make sure that we're creating a welcoming environment. So the people that were leading the class, thankfully, I was just watching the class. So I was able to walk away because I was just absolutely just mind blown. They're trying so hard to keep it together as this person's just staring at their now extremely floppy banana, asking if they can have another so that they can continue practicing. For the sake of whatever dick goes into that person's mouth, I really hope that they're okay.
Oh my God.
Do you think they were chomping? Do you think that was just a tight throat?
Or like a powerful throat? Very powerful throat, maybe?
I have no idea, because the banana went in okay, and within 30 seconds it came out just demolished, like full on prepping for banana bread status. Demolished.
That is you're blowing my mind. That's blowing my mind, because I'm sure if you got all these bananas at the bodega, they probably were super yellow and hard. Right? Yeah. They're not like the brown, softer bananas. Oh, no. So that's actually a skill.
And for safety purposes, right? Like you're like, well, for whatever dick they're chomping, if they're chomping dick, like I hope those dicks are okay. Oh, also, April, do you remember what the day before yesterday because we just did our live show in Chicago, and we had, I don't know if you have the Lisa or Finn, if you know the educator Jody Provocative or Provocative, she lives in Chicago. Mm-hmm. And so she's a fellatio expert. And so she was coming on to teach like how to really suck the D.
Throat choreography.
Yes.
Throat goat, if you will.
The demo we started before she came out, it was kind of like a funny, like Amy being a ridiculous person. April had a rainbow cock, and I was showing this thing called the Slurpee stick shift, which is kind of like you're just like using your mouth, but you're moving kind of the cock back and forth with your mouth like a stick shift. But then I just, for funsies, I like bit her rainbow cock, and everyone's like, I'm like, that's not what you really do unless someone's really into it. So anyways, I love just all the stories of what people see in the adult toy and sex education realm. And I just want to also, just before I ask you this next question, Dr. Carol Queen, was on our show as well, episode 356, with a very similar topic. We're talking with you, right? Sex toys. So it's just kind of cool, like almost not like in a full
And
circle.
we got that one on video as because we filmed that live with her in the sex toy museum at Good Vibrations in San Francisco. So it's a really great YouTube video to watch if you want to actually check. She's a legend, like the GOAT, like the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
That's okay to say because it's
it is now.
Yes. I'm not calling her.
It's a
goat,
compliment, everyone. Now,
yeah.
She's awesome. Go check that out. Okay, so another question for you though. Okay, what do you love the most about being a sex educator and working in the adult/pleasure product industry?
I love when people are shocked or surprised by something that they did not realize was a kink that they have. So if someone comes into a class, like really recently, praise kinks, there's been a lot more conversation about that people didn't realize that it could be applied in like such an even intense way in the bedroom. People realizing
can you tell our listeners if they don't know what a praise kink is?
Oh,
can
yeah,
you explain
of course.
that a little bit? Thank you.
So a praise kink is when you get complimented in a way that it is a full erotic experience for you. So very popularly being told like, oh, you're being such a good girl. You're doing so well for me. Things that when you're getting this praise, you're getting these compliments. It's not just like, oh, that made me feel good. It's like, oh, that made me feel good. And people being able to discover this, especially when it comes to talking in bed, any way that I can convince people to, communicate with their partner more in bed. But I really love when I see that light bulb moment of someone realizing, oh, I'm into that. We see it happen on the floor all the time. And just watching that moment, sometimes people get freaked out by it. And then you sort of see like the path of, is this weird? This is weird. No, it's not weird. I'm going to go home and try that. That arc is just something that I love watching.
Calling everyone who wants to spice things up in the bedroom. Check out this game-changing product, the Epiphany Clit Arousal Serum. Did you know there are tons of products to help guys last longer, but 96% of women need clit stimulation to finish? But here's a shocker. Straight women only climax 65% of the time during partnered sex, while guys finish 95% of the time. All you straight dudes listening want your partners to enjoy themselves as much as you do, right? Yes, right? I hope so. So try our new trick to wake up that clit with the Epiphany Arousal Serum.
Oh yeah, I agree. Epiphany isn't just lube. It's a special serum made to make sex way more fun, which is something we love. Just a drop or two of Epiphany gently wakes up the nerve endings in the most sensitive spots, leading to mind-blowing, intense orgasms. Think of it as a way to help activate the clit so gliding, grinding, and sliding become an explosive tool that will lead you to ecstasy. It feels silky, it won't stain your sheets, and it has just the right pH balance too. And guess what else? It's even safe with all silicone toys. Plus, for a limited time, Epiphany is giving our awesome listeners 20% off when you use code SHAMELESS at tryepiphany.com. That's Epiphany, EPIPHANY, and use code SHAMELESS to get 20% off that delicious arousal serum. Tryepiphany.com, code SHAMELESS. The link is in the episode's description.
What's up, shameless sex fam? Is your sex life important to you? What about your relationships? And also, let me ask you this. Who can relate to this story? Things were once so good in the bedroom with my partner, and now it's a mess, and I don't know what to do.
Where's my happily ever after, Amy?
Yeah, what about me? Or how about so many aspects of my life are fantastic, but when it comes to sex and relationships, I feel so lost. Yep, been there.
Me too. And this is why you all need Shameless Sex,
the book.
We give you simple solutions and a framework that you can use. You can customize it to you. Yes, you. Gives you the tools, the right tools for your sex and relationship so you get what you desire. And it's fun, it's playful, right, Amy? We're always playful.
It's kind of sexy.
And did I mention how easy we make it for you? You have to check out Shameless Sex. Plus, the testimonials, they're coming in from everywhere. And this book has helped people just like you recreate and create the sex life of their dreams. So you can do it too. Go to, where are they going, Amy?
Shamelesssex.com.
Oh, how easy is that? Just go to shamelesssex.com and click on the book, okay? And you can get it however you choose.
If you want hardcover, audio.
Hardcover?
We got you hardly covered.
I think that working in sex toy, if you have a brick and mortar, back in the day, Amy and I both worked at a brick and mortar that is now a Good Vibe store. That was Amy and her mom's Pure Pleasure. Now it's purepleasureshop.com. But when we were working in the stores, what you do, when you're working the floor, especially, you become this not only sex educator, because hopefully some folks aren't just warm bodies pushing buttons in stores. Education
That's a lot of
is
sex shops.
It's a lot of sex shops, not Good Vibrations, not Babeland.
Or Babeland,
No. However, being in that role is expected, but you also become this like psychologist, therapist, sometimes best friend, sometimes doctor that without any credentials that I'm like, I'm actually not a doctor. So you're asking me this question about your rash. I don't know. And that was really before Google was real big, it's like newer. So you have to wear these hats and there's also taking care of people, being inclusive, taking care of people's needs, because people come in and they're vulnerable. Sometimes in the sex shop for the first time, they're vulnerably talking to someone that's fresh and maybe they've never talked about sex before. So it is this really multifaceted work. And so I'm glad you brought up that with the aha moments. I remember having aha moments with folks, and that's so gratifying because you are really changing people's lives. And whenever we have done sex toy trainings, Good Vibrations stores and the staff is so knowledgeable. I don't know, and Babeland too. A lot of times I learn more from doing the trainings. I'm training about products and I'm learning more about what people are doing and what people are into and what people are buying these days. And I love this praise kink piece that you just brought up. I haven't heard that phrase before.
Oh, speaking my language.
But I love that. And so thank you for sharing that. And I think it's such purposeful work, the work that we're all doing. And so thank you for that work that you've been doing for years as well, almost a decade. So I want to switch gears though, because you are an expert in a lot of different facets of our industry. And it's great to hear outside of just Amy and I's recommendations for sex toys, or you're not a sex toy manufacturer that's selling sex toys, right? You're a person that has been in the industry. You know what products are out. You know what products people are into, what products people may be not into. So from you, such as caliber of a human, will you please talk about what makes a great sex toy? What makes it a great product? And then can you talk about maybe what elements? I mean, I know there's quality, design, the materials, but for you, Finn, what would you suggest?
I think above all else, versatility, whether it's in how you can use the product to have something that people can get a little bit more creative with, or in the amount of bodies that it can be used for. I love toys that can be used by folks of different genders, folks of different body size. I love a toy that can be used anally or vaginally if it's an external vibe, that it could be used elsewhere other than the clit. I think that a lot of people, especially when it comes to marketing the toys, they tend to pigeonhole themselves. And I see that a lot with folks that are marketing something as like a clitoral vibrator. And it's like, this is just a vibrator. It doesn't only have to go on clits. So I think what makes a good sex toy is not only the design, but how we're talking about it, that we need to be approaching it from sort of that intersectional inclusive lens.
Totally. Yeah. I love that one. Yeah. The versatility part. And let's continue talking
Where
about
you're like,
this.
does it do my dishes? And
that'd be awesome.
It gives you a forehead kiss before you go to bed.
Oh,
and then it
tucks
tucks you in.
Snuggle me. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Could my sex toy give me praise kink and tell me that I've been the best good girl, the best bad girl, all the things?
I'm giving it 5 years and there will be one that does that.
I know. Isn't that freaky?
Totally.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay. So can we talk about some of your, like, what do you think makes something a great sex toy. What are some actual toys or brands that you had really high hopes for? Actually, before we go into this one, I'm skipping ahead. What are some of your current favorite sex toys or brands or products right now, and also lubes, and why?
Yes. So top of the list, I know that this is like, it is an icon for a reason, but the Magic Wand. And I think the thing that I love about Magic Wand as a brand is that they know what they're doing and they're doing it right. And they are staying in their lane because they're doing it so well. Every time Magic Wand comes out with a new wand, even though it is a wand with, I know it's going to be powerful, I know it's going to be a wand, I still get so excited about it just because they do what they do so well. And they are a brand that actually, talks about all the different ways that you can use the toy rather than just like, here's a wand, put it on your bits, enjoy. They actually like take the time to like do research into like where else this can feel fantastic. They work with some really fabulous sex educators. So Magic Wand, always top tier on my list. I also love Enjoy for that reason. So Enjoy is the stainless steel company. I think I do. I have one of their butt plugs behind me.
It's just an N, everyone, with the joy.
J-O-Y. Yeah.
Yes.
And okay,
Yes.
I wanted to give a little side. So that's, we used to sell those like crazy at Pure Pleasure. But Finn and April, I don't know if you know this, and I don't know if this is even out. I saw they have a new product. I saw it at Sex Geek Summer Camp this year. Read Me Halko had it. I don't even know what it is yet, but they finally made a new product. Have you seen it yet, Finn?
Yeah. I saw it online, but I don't know whether or not it's going to be exclusive because I heard something about it's like a limited run. So I don't know, limited or not. My hands are grabbing at it. I will tell you that much.
Give me one of those.
But again, for accessibility, also like Enjoy products scare a lot of people when they first see it. But then once folks sort of get introduced to this idea of metal being something that's actually super accessible, no matter what level of sex toy user you are. So I think that's another thing where it's like bridging the gap between like, oh, that's terrifying and, oh, no, that's actually really nice. Like a metal butt plug is really intimidating to a lot of people who are beginners in booty play. But I actually think it's one of the best materials that you can use because the nice weight to it gives you that sense of fullness without actually having the size because it's so smooth and easy to insert. So I think it's another thing where it's opening up a further conversation.
And what about lubes, though? What about your favorite lubes?
I love Uber Lube.
Yes, me too.
Not surprised.
Not surprised.
Uber Lube. I feel like this is just going to be like a tour of me talking about all the different things that you can do with sex toys other than what they're marketed for. But hey, you know what? That's my niche. I am a person whose thighs could be described as thunderous, and putting Uber Lube to prevent chub rub, like game changer. But also it just feels so nice. I am very specific with like sensory things, and Uber Lube, like even after it's all like gone and absorbed into the skin, like my skin feels nicer afterwards, which is incredible. So Uber Lube all the way. For a water-based lube, if you're using with toys, I really like the Babe Lube Silk. It's kind of like creamy and lotiony in texture.
Wait,
so
is that made by Babeland? Is it there? Okay.
I've used it before. I love it.
So, and it's called Silk. Okay.
It looks creamy, right? It almost mimics like saliva or something in a way. If you put a little saliva on it, it will re-lubricate like a lot of other water-based
I'm not gonna lie, it kind of looks like cum.
Yeah, that's what I was like asking. It's kind of like one of those hybrids that looks kind of jizzy, but in a good way.
Maybe I meant semen, not saliva. I meant semen, not saliva.
You meant jizz. Yeah.
That's okay. We were going with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Babe Lube Silk for using with toys. It's got a little bit of silicone in it, but not enough that it's going to do anything to deteriorate a silicone toy. It just kind of makes it longer lasting, which I really dig. And it doesn't have that like jelly, tacky texture that so many people aren't the biggest fan of. Some people are, but I personally am not. So anything silky and smooth, that's...
What about dildos? Because we talk about vibrators. We don't really talk about dildos that much. I want to know if there's any new ones that I don't know about because I haven't worked for a dildo manufacturing company. I worked with Fun Factory for a while, which made dildos. And I remember there were some favorites when I worked at Pure Pleasure, but there might be something new now that I don't even know about.
When you say dildos, April, you're talking about things for penetration that don't
vibrate,
right?
Things that usually don't vibrate, yes.
Yeah.
The Fun Factory Limba line.
Limba.
So actually,
I've seen that.
Is that the one that bends? Oh, yeah.
So it's actually got something in it so that it can bend and hold the shape. So this is the small. this one's really, really good for pegging. But they come in all different sizes. Yeah. But the thing is that
That's good. That's a good one.
it has that articulated ability. So like you can really curve it up. So if you're looking for like G-spot play, P-spot play for handheld dildos, I think that it's really incredible because for a lot of people, it's kind of hard. It's like twist your arm and like get it up and around, especially if you're like doing butt stuff by yourself, to have something that you can actually custom shape to hit the spot where it exists in your body is really cool. Also, it's a suction cup, but it's a flat suction cup. So it still sticks, it still suctions, but it doesn't feel super aggressive when you're wearing it in a strap. So if you have this in a harness, it's not like you have one of those like big bulbous half moon cups just like sucking at your pelvic bone. So the Limba Flex by Fun Factory is probably my favorite strap-on dildo right now.
I like that. I love Fun Factory silicone. I still love they always come out with cool stuff. And that's why I wanted to ask. And like do you like their double-ended dildos? The share.
Yeah.
That one's
share.
That's an old school one too. That's been out for a long time. They haven't had to change a thing.
The Share Light is their newer one. And I cannot tell you how grateful I am that someone was like, let's design a dildo that you don't actually have to be doing Kegel exercises to keep inside, like a strapless strap on, that you don't need to depend on a harness and you don't need to have like the pelvic floor of Thor to be able to hold into your body. So the Share Light, I think, is an incredible design.
That's a good point because it's heavy, because silicone's heavy.
Yeah.
It just weighs a lot when it's dense inside. So, okay. So these are some of your favorite dildos, lubes, vibrators, which we all match up with. And even the plug, we have the plug, which I think is great. We've talked about Enjoy before. So what about, this is kind of maybe a little bit of an off the cuff question. I think it's important because there are a lot of toys out there that aren't necessarily maybe hitting the mark as they would or could.
Or
so
they tried.
Or they tried and they're like, meh. So are there
try.
any toys or brands, or I don't like to shame any brands, but toys specifically or design specifically that you maybe had high hopes for when you heard about it, but it just didn't live up to your expectations or the expectations of other folks? And why would that be?
So I still see this, and I see this from brands that I love, but toys that aren't designed completely booty safe, like toys, especially like larger toys where there isn't enough of a break between the girth of the toy and the width of the flared base.
You're talking about like the kind of the neck, the part that goes between the, like in the anal canal, right?
Yeah.
And the base is the part that hangs out your booty hole. And then
Yeah. So I've seen a lot of, people that are trying to size up. It's like, oh, we want to offer something bigger since more people are publicly talking about anal play. More people are trying it. More people want this size. But you still need to make it safe. Also, things like don't have holes and ridges inside of your booty toy that's going to make it impossible to clean afterwards. Don't have a butt toy where it screws apart to charge it, where that could potentially unscrew in the body. It's just so many times we'll see a design and I'm like, I'm so excited about this. And I get it and hold it in my hands and I'm like, I cannot in good faith tell anybody to stick this up their ass.
You're like, so the person that designed this, or people, do they actually do anal play? Do they even know about anal toys? Like we've seen this also with pussy toys, right?
Wait, clitoral toys. They're like clitoral stimulators, and they have the rabbit ears or the freaking butterfly looking thing that doesn't ever hit your clitoris. I'm like, what population of clitorises is this hitting? Because mine surely wasn't able. I try to like maneuver it and like push it down.
Like, we know whoever designed it probably doesn't own a clitoris, or like whoever designed these booty ones hasn't really learned a lot about or experimented with butt play, right?
Oh, the rabbit style toys that have the suction on the outside. So the rabbit part is a suction toy. I've seen so many of those where you can't move it, you can't pose it. So either you are keeping it still and not thrusting it to get the G-spot action because you want to keep the suction on your clit, or you're thrusting it to get the G-spot action and that's removing the suction from the clit. It's like, just make these things poseable. Not everybody has the same distance between their G-spot and their clit. Like, again, make it accessible. Make it so that folks with different body shapes can still enjoy it.
Yeah, I remember when Magic Wand was Vibratex, and there was the the Sex in the City. There was the episode Rabbit habit. Yeah, but there's the episode where Samantha gets addicted to her vibrator, but it's a magic wand.
No, it's Charlotte. It's
No,
the one.
Charlotte has the
there's
rabbit.
two.
Samantha has the wand. Yeah.
Yeah, Samantha's the one, and she's not addicted. She's just like, I masturbated all day, and then, but she's like having a hard time having an orgasm. She's super frustrated. But Charlotte, she gets stuck in her house for like 2 days because she's addicted to the rabbit habit.
They had to have an intervention. They had to have an intervention with her. We're like,
But I like that when Magic Wand, there's various reasons why, you know, they're just sticking to Magic Wand, not the rabbits anymore. Like they're focusing on this, you know, what they do and what they do really well. And that like the whole rabbit habit thing, it was cool, right? When we were at Pure Pleasure, people come in, they would always think that's their first vibrator that they should get. And you probably too, Finn, right? They're like,
all the time.
But I know why TV told you that, right? Not exactly.
It's happening right now with the Rose.
Oh, I know. I've heard of this sensation.
Yeah. So the thing about the Rose, again, I'm going to go into silly little marketing nerd over here. It's able to be promoted on social media. Like that shit was all over TikTok because it wasn't going to get banned. It didn't look phallic. It didn't look like a sex toy. So people were finding out about it via social media. It's now super accessible. People are coming in and asking for it. But there are people coming in and asking for it that don't like direct clitoral stimulation. It's like, just because it works for everybody else doesn't mean that it's going to work for you. Still have that conversation, which is why if you are near a sex toy shop, if you could go in person to a sex toy shop to get your first sex toy, do it, because we will talk you through the process. But yeah, I mean, the Rose I think is incredible, but I don't think that it's for everybody, you know?
And just adding to it, I know April's going to say, not all sex toy, we said this, not all sex toy shops are the same, right? So like you're saying, we like Babeland would, or Good Vibes, or
Pure Pleasure, Good Vibes.
Sex positive sex shops have people that work there that will help you through the process, but not everyone has access to those kind of stores. Like April was saying, sometimes it's just people babysitting the sex shop. So, you know, if you don't have that, you can go, you know, look online at these stores that are like Good Vibes, Babeland, and see. I'm sure there's even chat boxes where you can. Anyways,
you can also DM us
but not
on
all
social.
are the same.
Yeah.
Time for a quick break to talk about one of our sponsors who just so happens to be our absolute favorite lube, Uberlube. Uberlube is a luxurious silicone lubricant and it enhances intimacy. It's there when you want it and it blends in when you're done with it. So you have control over that lube. It's long lasting and leaves the skin extra velvety. And honestly, y'all, I want it all over my body. Thousands of doctors in the U.S. are recommending Uberlube to their patients. It's body-friendly, less likely to change the pH, and it has vitamin E, so it feels extra moisturizing.
There's a reason why we've been a fan of Uberlube for years. There's no flavor or scent. It's even great for oral sex, everyone. But it's not just great for sex. You can use it for massage, your hair. You can prevent chafing. It even brings out the colors of your beautiful tattoos. And the bottle is absolutely gorgeous. It looks more like a cosmetic, so you can leave it anywhere shamelessly for easy access. Just go to uberlube.com and use the discount code shameless10 to get 10% off and free shipping. Again, that's uberlube.com right now with code shameless10 for 10% off and free shipping. This podcast is also brought to you by OMGS.com. Join over 1 million people who are experiencing more pleasure with OMGS. They take scientific research of thousands of vulva owners, showing techniques to pleasure that pussy. They turn this research into tasteful, educational short videos, animated modules, and infographics. OMGS is for anyone who wants to learn about vulva pleasure or take it to the next level. Want to take your orgasms from good to out of this world? Then check out OMGS. Or if you're a vulva lover and want to up your pussy pleasuring skills, then you need to check out OMGS.
I've personally been recommending OMGS to my clients for years, and it's completely changed their lives. They have 3 seasons: external pleasure, internal pleasure, and sex toys. It's not a subscription service, and you don't need to download a thing. OMGS also makes a fabulous gift, and your purchase supports more pleasure research. So just go to omgs.com/shameless to get 10% off right now. Again, that's omgs.com/shameless to receive 10% off unlimited access towards enhancing your pleasure power. The link is in the episode's description.
Well, my only question, because and you said the rose you thought was a good product at the end, so maybe you answer my question, because I know that tech, the Air Pulse tech. This is that Air Pulse. It's called Air Pulse technology, I think, and the rose uses that, right? I've never used a rose. I have like the Womanizer, Satisfier. We have like those Air Pulse tech toys that came out. Is it the same technology as that, and it's just the rose shape, or is it a totally different thing that I don't even know about?
So the mechanics are a little bit different because the air pleasure technology, and I'm saying that with capital letters and air quotes, that is Womanizer's like patent. So Womanizer was the first brand to really use that. So it's the same idea with the rose or any of like the clitoral suction toys, where it is the pulsation and the movement of air within the little compartment that you put over the clitoral head. And that's what stimulates rather than vibration. So it's actually the movement of air around the clitoral head inside of the toy, rather than like a vibrator where you're putting the toy directly against your body and it's the motor touching you directly. It's the air that's doing that.
Interesting.
Yeah. And it's easier to hold a Womanizer because it has a little handle, and it doesn't look that phallic. It looks like I have one right here. Ear thermometer.
Yeah,
no,
totally.
and that they are the OG of this design that people love.
So you had asked before about something that I thought was surprisingly not so great. The Womanizer is the opposite of that. I had a completely opposite reaction when it first came out. This was when I first started working at Babeland, and the vendors would come in and give us samples to be like, hey, we have a new product coming out. We want y'all as sex educators to test it. Let us know what you think. And Womanizer came in. This was when the company was brand new. First of all, they come in and they're like, we're the Womanizer, and everyone just starts cracking up. They're like, you have to be kidding us.
Worst
the Womanizer really
German. They're German.
Yes.
They're
yes.
yeah. And all these sex positive sections try to talk them out of it too. They're like, really, can you not have that name? That's what you're really going for.
So already you've got a group of us that are flipping between laughing and singing Britney Spears, and they hand it to us. And the original Womanizer looked like a weird spaceship. Like it was chunky. Like I'm holding my hand out. Like it was probably as wide as like a mango. It was a large device. And they gave us.
Was it a bunch of dudes that came in? Was it a bunch of dudes that came in giving you these?
No.
Okay, that's good.
No, there was
sometimes I'm like,
I think it was. I know that there was at least one woman and one guy there. I wish that I could remember their names, but this was before I thought that I was going to be retaining any of this information.
April and I knew that we won't say the names either, but like the first like two dudes who were bringing it to the US, I think, who came in and you know, anyways, I'm not dropping names, so I remember those days.
But they hand it to us, and everyone's like, yeah, okay. So we all take it home. And the next day, we all just go up to one another. We're like, so anybody's curiosity get the best of them? And we're all just kind of looking around. It's just completely silent. And then everybody goes off about how much they love this toy.
Yeah.
Like we were mad at how great we thought this toy was, because we were like, this thing, the button is a giant like Swarovski crystal.
Yes.
It's got like plastic leopard print on it. Thankfully, Womanizer has come leaps and bounds in design.
They really have.
I have one in my hand, everyone, if you're watching on YouTube. This is their newer model.
Nothing like
no
the
Swarovski crystals.
But yeah, we were all just like, holy crap.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is incredible. And it was the first time that I had seen in real time something that hadn't been on the market before come into the market. Mm-hmm. So Womanizer, I love you. The name, it's fine. I'm getting over it, but I have
still
never
getting over it.
We all are. They sponsor. They're a sponsor for our show. This is even we did not plan on talking about this on this episode, but they've been a sponsor for our Unleashed tour. So we have been trying their new stuff too, and I still am not keen for my body on Air Pulse technology, but I have a lot of different flavors of womanizers to choose from now, and they do make a rabbit one that I do like. It's called like the New Age Rabbit that has that I'll use for G-spot stim because it has some flexibility. But I do want to say that they've come such a long way, and that I am a fan of their design. And it isn't for everyone though, right? Finn, as you said in the beginning,
Yeah.
some people don't need direct clitoral stimulation or don't want it. So, but your body's always changing. So don't give up if you really want it to work eventually. And I really want to have direct clitoral stimulation, have that toy on the side, which is I do, and bust it out every once in a while to try to create that new pleasure sensation.
Can I ask a question? So April's, your all-time favorite is Magic Wand, right?
Yes,
All-time favorite.
yeah.
And mine is the Womanizer Premium too. It has been for years. Finn, what is your all-time, if you could choose one toy or one brand, what's your all-time personal favorite?
Oh, my desert island toy, I call this one, is the We Vibe Tango X.
Oh, that's the little. It's a little bullet one.
It's just it is a bullet vibe. It is so simple. I don't know how they managed to get all of that power into that tiny little thing, and the fact that it's not like super loud either. I love it. That thing comes with me wherever I go.
And it's not huge to pack around. The Magic Wand, I love it, but now there's the mini, and then they have the micro. Those are easier to take. But I am like, it's like having an old shoe that you just can't get rid of. My like plug-in one. I'm like, I wish I could take this, but I love it so much. Anyway, that's a good one. I don't have one of those. We should try it because I love that buzzy. Like, is it buzzy? Kind of have that buzzy, like high pitched frequency, or is it?
It sort of goes through from like a really nice, like low rumbly to the high pitched. I wouldn't call it buzzy, but I wouldn't call it rumbly either. It's like if buzzy is a 10 and rumbly is a 1, I'd say it like is around a 6 or 7 on that scale.
I like this. This is fun. This is fun talking to another expert about sex toys. I love it.
I'm having a great time.
I'm having so much fun. We have to eventually wrap up. We don't want to. We have a few more questions though. So I guess your desert island toy, what about if there's a toy right now that kind of necessarily hasn't been designed yet? Maybe it's the AI generated one where it puts you to sleep and talks to you. I don't know. But if you could design a toy, what would it be?
I would love to see more nipple toys. I think that there are a decent amount of nipple toys out there, but we don't really see any high-end nipple toys. I would love to see something that like is vibrating, but you don't have giant like bullet vibes hanging from your nipples. I would just love to see that. Now, I am not a designer by any means. My brain does not work in that capacity. But if someone wanted to pitch some ideas to me, I could tell you whether or not I think they're cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that nipple toys, especially as more people are talking about kink, more people are talking about sensation play and accessibility, because a lot of people have nipples. So.
And the thing about the nipple toys too is like a lot of people, most people have nipples, but some people more inverted nipples, more like, protruding, the wrong word, pokey. Yeah. I don't know. Bigger nipples, smaller nipples.
Outies and innies.
Outies and innies. And yeah, I have not seen like one nipple toy that I think works for everyone. And I think also for a lot of people, they have yet to discover. I was one of these people yet to discover that nipple play actually can feel really amazing because it's just someone just like sucking really hard, avoiding them altogether, whatever, all the things. So any manufacturers currently listening right now, go make us an amazing nipple toy, but come to Finn first to try it out so you can get more feedback. Okay, because we do need to wrap up. This is me. We usually kind of call this rapid fire, but this isn't rapid fire. This is gonna be just like some easy.
Finn
quick
can
questions.
handle anything.
You can handle this. Finn,
I'm ready. Let's go.
I believe in her.
It's actually just quite broad. If you could give our listeners 1 to 2 top tips. This is just 1 to 2 top tips on how to be more badass, sex positive human beings when it comes to sex. What would those tips be?
Remember that being sex positive is not just about saying yes to everything. You could be sex positive and not be into anything. You could be the most vanilla person on earth, but as long as you are only concerned about you and your sex and whoever your partners are, that's fine. Let people do what they want to do. You do what you want to do. That is what sex positivity is about. You don't have to say yes to everything in order to be sex positive. And the second thing is lube. Just everything is better with lube. Any myths about wetness, there are so many things that contribute to that. Arousal and wetness are not associated. And even if you are not necessarily associated, often they are, but not all the time. Even if you're a geyser, using lube can be a total game changer.
Is a geyser like really wet genitals? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a, you get a desert or a geyser. It's the two breaths of
Yeah.
wetness.
I'm like
But
the Mississippi.
game changer.
No, I'm just
April,
kidding.
the Mississippi. I'm like it just depends on the day. Sometimes I'm like
not.
dry as a desert, and some days I'm like a geyser, and some days I'm like a Wait, what is the Mississippi like, April? When you're talking about your
I was just kidding. I'm just from the Midwest. I'm there right now near the Mississippi, so I just figured I'd throw that in there because most of the time, if you're drinking anything that is like wine, so that just feels like it dries you out. Or I took Zyrtec because my allergies are popping off from being in the Midwest. That's like I'm like, whoa, this is not the Mississippi flow. So a geyser that sounds nice, and it's so dependent on what you're doing. It's sometimes even my brain, I'm so turned on and so horny, and my pussy is like, no, no, not wet at all. And the lube is, I mean, lube is. I try to tell this to people that when we are out and about educating that say they've never used lube and they don't need it. And I'm like, but why? What would be the reason? And they
if you don't need it, maybe you want it.
It just enhances everything like sex toys can do. So I love that. I love those two. That would probably be hopefully another desert island take for you. Would you take something will you take the tango and then
lube.
Some lube?
Oh yeah.
That's what I say for Uber Lube whenever I talk about it. I'm like, if you're stuck on a desert island, you have 3 things. Make sure you have Uber Lube because you can use it for everything other than like, I mean, it won't feed you and nourish you, but you can use I've used it as lip gloss. I've used it as a makeup remover, makeup primer.
Water in my mouth almost. Like I have lubricated
tattoo aftercare.
Tattoos.
Also
yes.
Well, this was fun. And I love everything that we talked about today. Every single thing was we haven't talked on this level about sex toys with someone before on our show. So I think this is a really
Carol, but hers was more like historical, right?
That was more. We talked a lot about the evolution of sex positivity and not as deep about sex toy and the fact that you have been in this industry for a long time and you see toys and you're also this incredible sex educator gives you this really je ne sais quoi, this special quality that you can trust that you're looking out for the interest of the masses, I think, and that's really important. You're not just like, this is for just these people. And I like the inclusivity here is really great. And that's what Good Vibes and Babeland, they are amazing with that. So how can people find you? I'm not sure, and you'll have to remind me, I know you're a sex educator, but I don't know if you do direct work with people, if they want to find anything about your work or the work that we've talked about today in terms of the store, because I know y'all do workshops as well. So please share with our folks.
Yeah, so everything that I do is going to be mainly through Babeland. I do guest appearances with Good Vibes as well, but you can find us online, babeland.com. If you are in the New York City area, we've got shops in Brooklyn and Manhattan. We also have a shop out in Seattle, Washington. If you're in Brooklyn, I'm often in and out of that shop, so maybe you'll run into me. And then you can find us on Instagram and Twitter at Babeland_toys. I field some of the DMs there as well, so if you have a question for me specifically, you could DM and be like, hey, I have a question for Finn, and we'll make sure that gets to you. I'm on Instagram as well. I don't really use my Instagram for business purposes, but if you want to see pictures of my dog, I guess I'm at LA_Finn.
Following now, not just for your dog, but I want to see your dog.
That's one of my favorite pics. I love animals.
He's just a scruffy guy.
Wait, can I? Because I'm actually doing this. LA_Finn.
Yeah.
Oh, Amy, you're so
not
adorable.
selfish.
Well, we're sorry that we missed you when we were just in New York. I think you were out of town or something. But next time we're back on the East Coast, we'll have to see you and come in. We were there for a short period of time and then just like hang out with you because you're always so fun. And to all of our listeners, remember that we're going to be in Seattle. So if you are in Seattle, tickets are selling fast for our shows. We've been having so much fun. Chicago was a hit. So check out shamelesssex.com if you want to buy tickets, get the VIP package. Because a lot of these toys that we actually talked about today, and that was very, very auspiciously it was not supposed to happen this way. Serendipitous, whatever you want to call it. It was luck of the podcasting universe that we talked about. Our sponsors,
we just have
Septineros, which we love too. Yes, we have they are awesome toys, and we only talk about products that we love for real. That
is like everything that Lisa said. They're either current sponsors or have been sponsors, and we only work with people we love. And so that's awesome.
And this is why if you're in Seattle, the VIP packages that you get for just $40 more, you get all of the sex toys that we've talked about today, not the Enjoy and stuff, but the magic wand, you get a womanizer, 2 different ones, in even a Naros, who's another one of our sponsors, also Pure Lube, which is a great water-based lube. And then you get Uber Lube. And this is a shameless plug because we had the best time ever. And we'll probably be back in New York again. We'll do more live shows, Seattle, August 1st. And then this is a great day to just be alive and go and test out some new sex toys and some new lube. And thank you, Lisa Finn, for sharing your amazing skills with us. And
thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it was a pleasure. All right, Amy, I'll see you later because we're not in the studio today. Check us out on YouTube, everyone. Rate us if you haven't. Follow us if you haven't. Like us when you don't. Love us when you will. And more reviews help more people have more shameless sex. So putting that on you, everyone. We'll see you next Tuesday. Ciao for now.
To learn more, go to shamelesssex.com.
And for 15% off some of our favorite sex toys, use code shamelesssex at purepleasureshop.com.